Well, I'm about halfway through my journey along the Severn Valley Railway, and I've just arrived at this beautifully attractive rural station at Arley. Just looking across onto the opposite platform, there's a beautiful waiting shelter. And also the slopes, the gentle hills that roll down into the platform have been beautifully landscaped and are a riot of colour. I have to say that it is truly remarkable the amount of work that has gone into restoring these stations, and you can see from this photograph that was taken in 1972 just how much work was required here at Arley Station to restore it to its former glory. I do like the yellow brick appearance of the main station building here, which is typical really of most of the buildings up and down the Severn Valley Railway. It's easy really to see why this glorious rural station has starred as a backdrop in many films and TV productions over the years. The station featured in the 1998 film adaptation of Goodnight Mr. Tom, starring veteran actor John Ford and Nick Robinson. The story of the film features William Beach, as he and many other children were evacuated from London to the countryside during the Second World War to get away from the bombing. And the village in the film is the fictional village of Weirwold, and Weirwold Station was in fact Arley Station, and the railway scenes in the film were filmed along the Severn Valley Railway. The engine that was used for the railway scenes in the film was a Great Western Mogul engine 7325, which is owned by the Severn Valley Railway and is currently in store awaiting a full overhaul. A favourite comedy show of mine was Oh Dr. Beeching, which was also filmed here between 1996 and 1997, starring Paul Shane, Jeffrey Holland, and Sue Pollard. The series focuses on the lives of the staff who run the fictional station of Hatley on a rural branch line, and who find themselves attempting to find the means to keep their station open in the wake of the news that Dr. Richard Beeching has promoted plans for the closing of many branch lines and their respective stations. This is the signal box that was reconstructed by the Severn Valley Railway in the mid-1970s on the site of the original signal box, which had originally been demolished by British Rail. And you can see it here in this photograph from 1960. Just behind the main station building is the garden tea room, which serves homemade cake as well as freshly prepared food and a whole range of specialty hot and cold drinks. The tea room is proud to sell Bennett's Farmhouse Luxury Ice Cream, which is locally produced in Worcestershire. And as my surname is Bennett, that was a good enough excuse for me to try some. Arley has always been a quiet and peaceful location, although all of that changed back in early 1944 when around 5,000 troops arrived on troop trains from ports in the northwest of England and also from Scotland. And the troops were here for training at a couple of nearby camps for the upcoming D-Day operations. Well, I'm now leaving Arley Station and continuing my journey along the Severn Valley Railway to the next destination, which is the beautiful market town of Bewdley. About half a mile along the track from Arley is the Victoria Bridge, which crosses the River Severn. And it's one of the most photographed locations on the line, and at 200 feet long, it's the longest single-span cast iron bridge in Britain. The bridge was designed and built by the Severn Valley Railway's engineer-in-chief, Sir John Fowler, and was completed in 1861, opening to traffic from the end of January 1862. Over the years, the bridge has featured in a number of films and TV programmes, and one that I remember well is the 1978 version of The 39 Steps, starring Robert Powell. Whilst on board a train travelling from London to Dumfries, Robert Powell, who played the part of Richard Hannay in the film, pulled the communication cord, stopping the train directly over the bridge. And here you can see Hannay climbing down from the train to get under the bridge to evade capture. Before reaching Bewdley, we pass through the request stop at Northwood Holt. The station was originally opened in 1935, closing in 1963. Between 1974 and 1984, Bewdley was the southern terminus of the Severn Valley Railway. There are two signal boxes at Bewdley. This is Bewdley North, and there was also another box at Bewdley South, and both were constructed around the same time, around 1877. Both boxes use the absolute block signalling system for controlling the passage of trains over a double-track railway, and this also ensures that only one train can be used in a section on each track at any given time. This is the island platform, which can accommodate an 8-carriage train on each platform face, and just look at this beautiful awning roof. Over on the northbound platform is the main station building, which is constructed of red brick. And it's fronted by a single platform that can accommodate 5 coaches. This beautiful heritage-covered wooden footbridge was relocated from Melrose Station in Scotland and was restored and installed by volunteers. Also from Melrose Station was this fascinating open-roofed cast-iron gents urinal on platform 2. Melrose Station was situated on the Waverley line between Edinburgh and Carlisle, and the line was closed in 1969 and the toilet was threatened with demolition before it was rescued by a team of volunteers from the Severn Valley Railway who dismantled it and moved it to Bewdley to replace a similar structure which once stood on this site. There's some interesting rolling stock at this station, like these Class 108 DMUs, which I remember travelling on the Cornish branch lines when I was just a nipper. This beautiful steam engine is currently awaiting overhaul, and it was built at Swindon back in 1932. It was previously numbered 9303 until June 1958, when it was overhauled and the front end was lightened, at which time it was renumbered 7325. During its working life, the engine predominantly carried coal trains between South Wales and Shrewsbury, and also into the West Midlands. These 5-plank open goods wagons date back to the early 1920s. Meanwhile, this improvised gunpowder van dates back even earlier to the 1890s. There's even a Regent Oil and Texaco aviation fuel tank wagon. The tank would have been used by the Regent Oil Company, which was rebranded as Texaco Limited back in 1967. Hiding away under the blue cover is Class 37 diesel locomotive 37408, and I have a record of seeing this engine in service at Plymouth Station back in 1978. Last but not least is this GWR 1399 milk brake van, and it's one of a batch of 4 short wheelbase vehicles that was built by the GWR at Swindon during the First World War for use as a pharmacy car in an ambulance train. The Great Western Railway had always recognised the value of publicity, and like many other railway companies at the time, the GWR produced their own posters, with many of them promoting travel to the West Country, to Devon and Cornwall. Of all the posters I've seen today, I guess my favourite has to be the Royal Albert Bridge, which spans the River Tamar between Plymouth in Devon and Saltash in Cornwall, taking me back to my roots. Regular viewers of this channel will know that I have an interest in station clocks, and there's a really lovely clock here on the island platform, platform 2, platform 3. I don't know where this particular clock was manufactured, but I do know that it was brought here from nearby Stourbridge Junction. Like most of the stations along the Severn Valley Railway, Bewdley has been used in a number of film and television productions over the years. The film that stands out in my mind is the 1992 Academy Award-winning production of Howard's End, starring Anthony Hopkins and Vanessa Redgrave. Both the Victoria Bridge and Bewdley Station appear in the film, with Bewdley masquerading as Hilton Station. Well, I've reached the end of my journey along the Severn Valley Railway at Kidderminster Town station, and it's just a short walk from here to the mainline network rail station. The station was built on the site of Comberton Hall Railway goods yard, which closed in 1982. Although the track layout is now entirely different from those days, with these central passenger platforms that can accommodate a 10-coach train at each of the two platform faces, and there's also a runaround loop for locomotives. All passenger services normally depart from these two platforms, and I understand that it's a long-term ambition of the railway to provide a canopy for these platforms similar to the one that I saw at Bewdley. The main station building and concourse has a seamless appearance and was built in stages over a period of more than 20 years. The first phase of the building was the west wing, which included the station emporium and toilets, and that was built in 1984, with the second phase, including the entrance hall and ticket office, being added a year later. The final phase of the building work, which included this lovely glazed roof, was completed in 2006. I do like this former W.H. Smith & Son bookstall, which was relocated here from Manchester Victoria Station in 1989. The concourse also includes a licensed restaurant and buffet, as well as an award-winning pub, the King and Castle.
Steam train, calling at all stations to Bridge North. This will depart from platform 1 and is currently boarding. Passengers wishing to travel on the 10 o'clock service, please make their way to platform 1 once you've obtained your tickets. Thank you.
During the past 50 years, the Severn Valley Railway has progressively achieved great prominence in British railway preservation. Being a railway enthusiast, I've always wanted to come on this railway, and there is so much to see along the line that it's difficult to fit it all into one day. For example, I would have liked to have seen the engine house at Arley, with its locomotives, its rolling stock and railway memorabilia, as well as the film presentations and observation galleries. Sadly, though, there wasn't time to visit today. Highlights of the day for me were seeing such a wide variety of preserved steam locomotives and heritage diesels, and an eclectic collection of rolling stock along the line. The beautifully preserved stations along the line was another highlight for me, particularly the country stations at Hampton Load and Arley. Both the staff and the volunteers that I've met today really exude great pride in what has been achieved here on the Severn Valley Railway, and I can really understand why so many railway enthusiasts and members of the general public visit this superb heritage railway. Join me next time when I'll be back on the main line, visiting some of the least used stations of Warwickshire. I'll be visiting Claverden, the Lakes, Woodend, Dansey, and Brearley. I'm going to end by taking a look back at some of the highlights of what has turned out to be a truly wonderful day on the Severn Valley Railway. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.